We clean it inside, and inside the shrine, it has around 200 coins. Some of them were in very good condition, and we could see immediately it has Cleopatra's face.
If you have a relatively short time frame to deal with, then searching for a lost civilization becomes much more complex and much more difficult. But if you have a very long time frame to deal with, there's much more material to investigate.
Was the city of Petra always known as Petra? From the Bible, we learn that the oldest name for Petra is Seir.
Beneath the rose-red cliffs of Petra, an ancient city carved into sandstone holds mysteries that have puzzled scientists for centuries.
First organization of human beings that deserve to be called a civilization.
Recent discoveries in this lost city have surprised experts, challenging our understanding of ancient civilizations. As shadows reveal new celestial alignments on the grand facades and columns during the equinox, we are left wondering, what secrets do the stones of Petra still hold?
I don't think we're looking at coincidence here. There's too much going on. I think coincidence is a very weak explanation for what's happening.
The story of Petra, often called the Lost City, stretches back to as early as the 4th century BCE, when it was founded and rose to prominence by the 1st century BCE as the capital of the Nabatean kingdom. Nestled in the cliffs of vibrant red, white, pink and sandstone, Petra was at the heart of a bustling trade empire. Its strategic location on the spice trade routes connected it with far-flung regions from China and India to southern Arabia, and on to Egypt, Syria, Greece and Rome.
You go to Egypt and you'll find influence of the Nabateans. Everywhere we look, we find some reference at some time to the Nabateans.
The city thrived not just commercially but culturally and architecturally, demonstrating advanced techniques in water conservation. Its engineers crafted an intricate system of dams, cisterns and water channels that sustained both the city's population and its agriculture through harsh desert conditions. However, following its annexation by Rome in 106 CE, Petra began to experience a slow decline. Initially, it flourished under Roman influence, but as trade routes shifted towards the sea and devastating earthquakes struck in the 4th and 6th centuries, the city gradually lost its former glory. By the time the Islamic conquests swept through in the 7th century, Petra was reduced to a shadow of its former self, mainly inhabited by a few local Bedouin tribes who lived among the ruins and closely guarded its secrets. Throughout the Middle Ages and well into the 18th century, Petra remained enveloped in obscurity, particularly to the Western world. The Crusaders controlled the region briefly in the 12th century and even established a fortress there, but knowledge of Petra's once grandeur was limited to local tribes and a few knowledgeable Arab scholars. The renowned 14th century explorer Ibn Battuta mentioned Petra during his travels, describing it as a remote place with buildings impressively carved into rock faces. This period in Petra's history mirrors that of another ancient city, Machu Picchu in Peru, which also remained hidden from Western awareness until its rediscovery in 1911 by Hiram Bingham. Both cities were advanced in manipulating their natural environments, Petra with its sophisticated water management systems, and Machu Picchu with its terraced fields and intricate urban planning. The prolonged European ignorance of Petra lasted until the 19th century, with the region fading into the realm of myth and legend. Many in Europe were completely unaware of Petra's existence, despite ancient texts hinting at the architectural marvels that lay hidden in the Jordanian mountains. This mystery persisted until explorers reintroduced Petra to the Western world, bridging the gap between ancient lore and modern recognition. Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, born in 1784, was a Swiss traveler and scholar whose profound curiosity and academic prowess led him to significant contributions towards the Western understanding of lost or lesser-known ancient sites. Mastering multiple languages and immersing himself in various cultures, Burckhardt developed a particular fascination with Petra, an ancient city whose whereabouts had slipped from European knowledge. In preparation for his explorations within the Ottoman Empire, Burckhardt relocated to London in 1806, where he joined the African Association, an organization committed to the exploration and mapping of Africa. He further honed his expertise at Cambridge University, studying Arabic, geography, and the cultures of the Middle East. It was here that he meticulously constructed his alter ego, Sheikh Ibrahim ibn Abdallah. This identity was not just a cover to mask his European roots and exploratory motives, it was a deep dive into cultural assimilation, allowing him safer passage and a more authentic experience in predominantly Muslim territories. Burckhardt's journey to Petra began in 1812, framed as a pilgrimage to sacrifice at the tomb of the prophet Aaron on Mount Hor, which cleverly concealed his true intent to locate and document Petra. He had pieced together clues of the lost city from discussions with local traders and vague references in ancient manuscripts. His travels from Syria to the Arabian Peninsula were fraught with challenges, from regional conflicts to the unforgiving desert landscape, yet his guise as an Islamic scholar provided him crucial cover. Upon his arrival in Petra, Burckhardt was met with the breathtaking view of the Sikh, a narrow gorge stretching over a kilometer, flanked by towering walls as high as 80 meters. This passage led him to Petra's most famous and enigmatic structure, Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury. Carved directly into the blush-colored sandstone cliffs, its facade displayed an exquisite blend of Nabatean, Greek, and Roman architectural elements. Petra's entrance, known as the Sikh, is far more than just a gateway. It's an architectural wonder in its own right. This narrow gorge, carved directly from the towering sandstone cliffs, stretches for about 1.2 kilometers and varies in width from a mere 3 to 16 meters. As you walk through, the walls, which soar to heights of over 80 meters, dramatically frame your approach, guiding you towards the heart of Petra, ending at the magnificent Al-Khazneh. Along the Sikh, you'll notice a series of ancient water channels, a testament to the Nabateans' advanced hydraulic engineering skills. They devised these systems to capture and conserve the scarce desert rainwater. The strategic narrowness of the Sikh also offered a natural defense mechanism, much like the historic pass of Thermopylae in Greece, providing a fortified barrier against potential invaders. At the end of the Sikh stands Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury, which, despite its name, was likely built as a mausoleum or temple around the 1st century CE. This iconic structure is renowned for its stunning facade, decorated with a blend of Hellenistic architectural elements and native Nabatean motifs. It features a grand portico supported by 6 Corinthian columns and is adorned with intricate bas-reliefs, including depictions of Castor and Pollux, twin brothers who were revered in mythology for their role in protection and safety. The urn perched atop the facade fueled local legends, with Bedouins believing it concealed ancient treasures, hence the name the Treasury. This blend of myth and architecture draws parallels to the ornately decorated temples of the Egyptian pharaohs, which were also rich in cultural and mythological significance. Petra's architectural landscape is a rich mosaic of influences, reflecting its historical significance as a cultural and trading hub. The city's structures blend Nabatean rock-cut artistry with classical Greek, Roman, and later Byzantine styles. This fusion is visible not just on the facades but throughout the city's layout, which includes a Roman-style colonnaded street and a theatre capable of holding over 3,000 spectators. Carved directly from the rock, Petra's theatre echoes the design of ancient Greek theatres such as Epidaurus, yet it is uniquely Nabatean in its execution, showcasing their extraordinary skill in stone carving. This architectural diversity highlights the city's role as a melting pot of various civilizations throughout history, each leaving their mark on its stones and streets. Among the monumental structures in Petra, the monastery known as Ad-Dair stands out for its architectural splendor akin to that of the Treasury, yet it occupies a more secluded and solemn location. The journey to reach the monastery is an adventure in itself, involving a challenging climb of over 800 steps carved directly into the rock, which naturally limits the number of casual tourists who visit. Originally constructed as a Nabatean temple in the 3rd century BCE, the structure was later repurposed as a Christian chapel during the Byzantine period. Its facade, adorned with a massive urn and framed by towering columns, rivals the grandeur of the Parthenon in Athens. However, the isolation of the monastery adds a layer of spiritual retreat, contrasting with the civic pride of the Parthenon. Petra's allure as a mysterious and adventurous location was catapulted into popular culture by its appearance in the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The movie features Petra's treasury as the fictional entrance to the final resting place of the Holy Grail, which not only captured the imaginations of viewers worldwide, but also significantly boosted tourism to the site. This depiction in the film perfectly aligned with the themes of discovery and exploration, underscoring how media can dramatically shape the perception and economic realities of archaeological sites.
Said to be buried together for thousands of years, the mystery of the lost tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony has remained a mystery. Perhaps that is, until today. This never-before-seen tunnel has been something regarded as an engineering miracle. And while that whole thing is huge, how does all of this happen in the first place?
The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is undeniably one of the most thrilling and mysterious achievements in archaeology. Cleopatra VII, the final ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, has fascinated people for centuries with her intelligence, political shrewdness, and her famous romances with Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. For ages, the location of her final resting place remained one of history's most elusive mysteries. The breakthrough in the search for Cleopatra's tomb emerged in the early 21st century. This incredible discovery was driven by Dr. Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, and Kathleen Martinez, a Dominican lawyer turned self-taught archaeologist with a deep passion for Cleopatra. Martinez, fueled by her admiration for Cleopatra and her extensive research of ancient texts, posited that Cleopatra and Mark Antony were buried in the temple of Osiris Magna, near the ancient city of Alexandria. Martinez's theory was rooted in a detailed analysis of historical accounts by Plutarch and Cassius Dio, suggesting Cleopatra might have been buried in a temple dedicated to the goddess Isis. This idea contrasted with the prevailing belief that Cleopatra was interred within Alexandria itself. In 2005, Martinez obtained permission from the Egyptian authorities to commence excavations at Osiris Magna. The excavation at Osiris Magna was challenging. The site, located on the edge of the Libyan desert, posed significant difficulties due to its unstable structures and the complex layers of archaeological deposits. Over several years, the team uncovered notable artifacts, including coins with Cleopatra's likeness, statues, and inscriptions, all supporting the hypothesis that the site was connected to Cleopatra. A particularly intriguing aspect of this discovery was the mysterious and seemingly serendipitous nature of many findings. Key discoveries often coincided with unusual weather events like sudden sandstorms and unexpected rains, almost as if guiding the archaeologists to crucial areas. Some team members reported vivid dreams and visions of ancient rituals, which they interpreted as spiritual guidance. An especially fascinating discovery was a large, unfinished tunnel beneath the temple, leading to a series of chambers. This tunnel, carved with precise craftsmanship, suggested that the burial complex was intended for someone of extraordinary significance, possibly Cleopatra herself. Inside these chambers, the team found a hidden room containing a collection of golden artifacts and inscriptions referring to a Queen of Kings, a title often linked to Cleopatra. The initial announcement of the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb attracted immense media attention and widespread public interest. Press conferences were held, documentaries were produced, and the artifacts were meticulously catalogued and preserved. Many of these artifacts, including statues, jewelry, and coins, were exhibited in museums worldwide, drawing millions of visitors eager to learn more about Cleopatra and her era. Following the discovery, Osiris Magna became a focal point for ongoing archaeological research. Scholars and historians collaborated to further investigate the surrounding area, uncovering additional structures and artifacts that offered more insights into the Ptolemaic period. The discovery also led to a re-evaluation of other potential burial sites across Egypt, prompting new excavations and yielding fresh historical data. The site itself transformed into a popular tourist destination, significantly boosting the local economy and fostering a deeper appreciation for Egypt's rich cultural heritage. Educational programs and public lectures spread the knowledge gained from the discovery, inspiring a new generation of archaeologists and historians. Cleopatra's tomb holds a treasure trove of unique and fascinating facts that shed light on her life and reign. One of the most remarkable aspects of Cleopatra was her linguistic prowess. She was fluent in several languages, including Egyptian, Greek, Latin, and possibly others, which allowed her to communicate effectively with various cultures and political leaders. This multilingual ability was a significant asset in her diplomatic engagements and helped her maintain strong political ties. Cleopatra's reign was characterized by a remarkable blend of Egyptian and Hellenistic cultures. She embraced Egyptian customs and religious practices, presenting herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis, while also maintaining strong connections to her Greek heritage. This cultural syncretism was reflected in the art, architecture, and religious ceremonies of her time, creating a unique and vibrant cultural landscape. The tomb at Taposiris Magna, believed to be Cleopatra's final resting place, is a testament to her architectural vision. The complex features intricate carvings, hidden chambers, and sophisticated tunnels, highlighting the advanced engineering and architectural skills of the period. The tomb's design and construction reflect the grandeur and sophistication that Cleopatra likely envisioned for her eternal abode. The artifacts discovered within the tomb are rich with symbolism. Golden jewelry, statues, and inscriptions reflect Cleopatra's royal status, religious beliefs, and political ambitions. These artifacts offer a glimpse into her life, her reign, and her desire to be remembered as a divine ruler. The symbols and inscriptions provide valuable insights into how Cleopatra viewed herself and how she wanted to be perceived by future generations. The discovery of hidden chambers and tunnels within the tomb complex suggests that Cleopatra may have taken great care to ensure the security and sanctity of her final resting place. These hidden features indicate a sophisticated understanding of architecture and a deep respect for the afterlife. The hidden chambers and tunnels add an element of mystery and intrigue to the tomb, highlighting the lengths to which Cleopatra went to protect her legacy. The tomb complex at Taposiris Magna is extensive, featuring a series of interconnected chambers and tunnels. The main burial chamber, believed to be the final resting place of Cleopatra, is adorned with intricate carvings and decorated with golden artifacts. The size of the tomb and its elaborate design indicate that it was intended for a person of significant importance, supporting the theory that it belongs to Cleopatra. Among the artifacts discovered were numerous statues, some depicting Cleopatra herself, others representing Egyptian gods and goddesses. The team also found a wealth of golden jewelry, including necklaces, bracelets, and rings, many of which are inscribed with hieroglyphs and symbols associated with royalty and divinity. Additionally, coins bearing Cleopatra's likeness and inscriptions were uncovered, further supporting the identification of the tomb. These artifacts not only highlight Cleopatra's royal status, but also provide a tangible connection to the historical figure, enriching our understanding of her life and reign. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding Cleopatra is the exact circumstances of her passing. The traditional account suggests that she took herself by allowing an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her. However, some scholars propose alternative theories. Another intriguing theory is that Cleopatra's relationship with Rome was more complex than commonly portrayed. Some historians believe that her alliances with Julius Caesar and later with Mark Antony were part of a broader strategy to create a unified Greco-Roman Egyptian empire, with Alexandria as its capital. This theory suggests that Cleopatra's ambitions extended beyond Egypt, envisioning a new world order centered around her rule. The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb has also sparked speculation about a potential curse associated with disturbing her final resting place. Similar to the curse of Tutankhamun's tomb, some believe that those who enter Cleopatra's tomb may face misfortune or supernatural retribution. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it adds an element of mystery and intrigue to the discovery. One of the most mysterious coincidences related to the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is the alignment of astrological events. Researchers noted that significant breakthroughs in the excavation process often coincided with notable celestial events, such as eclipses and planetary conjunctions. Some believe that these alignments were not mere coincidences, but rather signs of divine intervention or ancient knowledge encoded in the tomb's design. Several members of the excavation team reported experiencing intuitive insights and inexplicable hunches that guided their efforts. These insights often led to significant discoveries, such as the location of hidden chambers or the interpretation of cryptic inscriptions. While these experiences cannot be scientifically explained, they add a layer of mystery to the discovery process. Cleopatra's legacy also includes her efforts to position herself as a divine ruler. She was closely associated with the goddess Isis and often depicted herself as the goddess's earthly embodiment. This association was part of her strategy to legitimize her rule and strengthen her connection with the Egyptian people. The artifacts found in her tomb, including statues and inscriptions depicting her as Isis, underscore this aspect of her reign.
It's incredible how respectless tourists can be. You see, here is another ancient engraving, but somebody just tried to paint, to engrave a figure beside it. What can we do to avoid this destruction of the cultural heritage in the desert?
Imagine a world hidden beneath the sands, untouched by human hands for millennia. When scientists recently opened a cave in the heart of the Egyptian Sahara that had been sealed for thousands of years, they uncovered a breathtaking glimpse into a forgotten past, the Cave of Swimmers with its mysterious rock paintings of people swimming in what is now one of the driest places on Earth. Join us as we delve into this astonishing discovery and compare it with another ancient wonder, Indonesia's Liang Timpuseng Cave, home to the world's oldest known hand stencil, revealing secrets of humanity's earliest artistic expressions. In 1933, Hungarian explorer Laszlo Almasi stumbled upon the Cave of Swimmers in the remote Gilf Kebir plateau of the Egyptian Sahara. One of the most arid and inhospitable places on Earth, this region holds a small cave, about the size of a one-car garage, measuring approximately 10 meters by 3 meters. Despite its modest size, this cave is a window into a prehistoric era, when the Sahara was a lush, fertile land. The Cave of Swimmers is renowned for its Neolithic rock paintings, estimated to be around 10,000 years old. These paintings, created with a reddish-brown pigment, depict human figures in swimming postures, suggesting that the area once had bodies of water. The art also features wildlife like giraffes, reinforcing the idea of a once verdant environment. These depictions are not just artistic expressions, they are crucial evidence of the dramatic climatic changes that have transformed the Sahara from a hospitable environment to the arid desert we know today. Almasi's discovery gained wider fame through the 1996 film The English Patient, which drew inspiration from his life and explorations. Now let's travel to another corner of the world, to the Maros Pangkep karst region of Sulawesi, Indonesia. Here lies Liang Timpuseng Cave, discovered in the 1950s but only recognized for its true significance in 2014. A team of archaeologists led by Maxime Aubert unearthed ancient rock art in this limestone cave, part of a larger complex covering an area of about 750 hectares, roughly the size of the city of Chicago. The cave itself, though modest in size, houses some of the oldest known figurative art in the world. Inside Liang Timpuseng, the art includes a hand stencil and a depiction of a babirusa, or wild pig native to Sulawesi. The hand stencil, dated to at least 40,000 years ago, was created by placing a hand against the cave wall and blowing reddish pigment over it, leaving a negative image. This method of creating hand stencils is found in various ancient art sites worldwide, suggesting a shared cultural practice among early humans. The discovery challenges previous notions about the origins of symbolic behavior and artistic expression, indicating that these traits may have developed independently in different parts of the world or were a shared characteristic of early human populations. Comparing the cave's main chamber to a small classroom helps put its modest size into perspective, just as the vast Maros Pangkep region can be compared to the sprawling expanse of Chicago. These comparisons highlight how even small, unassuming spaces can hold treasures of immense historical and cultural value. The discoveries in both the Cave of Swimmers and Liang Timpuseng underscore the potential for significant archaeological finds in unexplored regions, offering profound insights into our shared prehistoric heritage. In the heart of central India lies a remarkable discovery known as the Sistine Chapel of the Ancients. This cave complex, part of the Bhimbetka rock shelters in Madhya Pradesh, was unearthed in 2002 by Indian archaeologist Dr. A.R. Walimbe and his team. The Bhimbetka shelters, encompassing over 700 rock formations, are a treasure trove of prehistoric art. Among them, the Sistine Chapel of the Ancients stands out for its rich and well-preserved rock paintings. Spanning an area of about 10 kilometers, equivalent to the size of Central Park in New York City, this specific shelter is particularly notable for the intricate artwork adorning its walls and ceilings. The prehistoric paintings in the Sistine Chapel of the Ancients date back at least 10,000 years and depict a wide array of subjects, including hunting scenes, dancing, and religious rituals. The vibrant colors, red, white, and green, are derived from natural pigments sourced from minerals and plants. These paintings are remarkable for their complexity and the detailed representation of human and animal figures. This site offers a comprehensive view of early human life and culture in the Indian subcontinent, providing invaluable insights into the social and spiritual lives of prehistoric communities. The sophisticated nature of the art indicates a high level of cognitive and artistic development among early humans in this region. Just as Central Park serves as an oasis of nature within a bustling city, the Bhimbetka rock shelters preserve ancient art and culture within modern India. On the other side of the globe, in the Maros Pangkep karst region of Sulawesi, Indonesia, lies another archaeological marvel, Leang Timpuseng Cave. Discovered in the 1950s, the cave's significance came to light only in 2014, thanks to the detailed studies and dating efforts of archaeologists led by Maxime Aubert. Leang Timpuseng is part of an extensive limestone cave complex covering around 43,000 hectares, comparable to the size of Chicago. The cave itself, though modest in size, with its main chamber about 3 meters high and 10 meters wide, houses some of the oldest known figurative art in the world. Inside Leang Timpuseng, the ancient art includes a hand stencil and a depiction of a babirusa, a pig deer native to Sulawesi. The hand stencil, dating back at least 40,000 years, was created by blowing reddish pigment over a hand placed against the cave wall, leaving a negative image. This technique, found in various ancient sites worldwide, suggests a widespread cultural practice among early humans. The discovery of such ancient art in Leang Timpuseng has profound implications for understanding the origins of symbolic behavior and artistic expression. The age of the hand stencil predates similar art found in Europe, suggesting that the capacity for creating symbolic art may have developed independently in different parts of the world, or was a shared trait among early human populations. Imagine a group of teenagers exploring the French countryside, stumbling upon one of the most significant archaeological finds of the 20th century. In 1940, 4 teenagers, Marcel Ravida, Jacques Marsal, Georges Agniel, and Simon Coancas, discovered the Lascaux cave in southwestern France. This accidental discovery unveiled a treasure trove of prehistoric art, catapulting Lascaux into the limelight as one of the most famous and well-preserved examples of Upper Paleolithic cave paintings. The Lascaux cave, located near the village of Montignac in the Dordogne region, is a complex network of caves extending approximately 235 meters in length. This network of caves is roughly equivalent to the length of 2 football fields placed end to end. Despite its expansive size, the cave is divided into several main sections, each adorned with intricate paintings and engravings that date back around 17,000 years. The art within Lascaux is breathtakingly detailed and vibrant. The cave's walls and ceilings are covered with over 600 painted and drawn animals, including horses, deer, aurochs, and ibex. One of the most famous sections is the Hall of the Bulls, where 4 large bulls dominate the scene, one of them measuring over 5.2 meters long, larger than a modern-day SUV. The skill and precision with which these figures are rendered suggest a high degree of artistic ability and an intimate knowledge of the animals depicted. In addition to the stunning animal depictions, Lascaux also features abstract symbols and a rare human figure, which adds to the cave's enigmatic allure. The paintings were created using mineral-based pigments, such as ochre and charcoal, mixed with animal fat or plant sap to help the colors adhere to the rock surfaces. The artists utilized the natural contours of the cave walls to give a 3-dimensional effect to their work, demonstrating an advanced understanding of perspective and shading. Comparing Lascaux Cave to a modern structure helps to grasp its size and significance. Imagine the cave as an expansive art gallery, akin to the Louvre Museum in Paris, but carved into the earth and adorned with prehistoric masterpieces. Just as the Louvre houses a vast collection of art spanning centuries, Lascaux encapsulates the artistic achievements of our distant ancestors, offering a unique window into their world.
The Great Pyramid, mostly that's the one that's been studied. We actually haven't done a whole lot of studying on the other pyramids. In fact, we've not even cleared off the bases of some of the other pyramids up at Giza. It's crazy. I mean, there's giant underground networks of tunnels underneath Saqqara, I think underneath Giza, all over Egypt. The Sphinx is not like a built thing, like they carved down into the ground and then they shaped it out of bedrock.
Beneath the sands of the Giza Plateau lies the Osiris Shaft, a mysterious underground structure that baffles archaeologists and captivates history enthusiasts.
They did discover that somewhere underneath the area of the front paws, there was a hollow area.
This subterranean marvel, with its intricate architecture and profound symbols, offers glimpses into ancient Egyptian religious and ceremonial practices. The mysteries of the Osiris Shaft invite us to explore its true purpose and the advanced knowledge behind its construction. Known since the late 19th century, the Osiris Shaft initially did not attract much attention from early explorers and Egyptologists, who focused more on the prominent features like the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx. As a less conspicuous feature, it remained largely unexplored until the late 20th century, when systematic exploration began.
So we do know the Sphinx does have hollow areas. It's just the government doesn't want to admit that that's the case.
The turning point came with the work led by the renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass in the 1990s. Under his direction, comprehensive exploration of the shaft was undertaken, which unveiled its complex architecture and potential significance in understanding Egyptian religious practices.
The Sphinx is hidden underneath the Sphinx. So can you give us permission to drill?
The exploration of the Osiris Shaft involved the challenging task of removing water that had accumulated in the lower levels, especially the third level, which was partially submerged.
That the water began to rise in front of the Sphinx temple outside.
Modern pumping equipment was employed to drain the water, allowing archaeologists access to the shaft's deepest parts. The detailed examination of the shaft's architecture revealed the engineering skills of ancient Egyptians. It consists of 3 levels, each serving a different purpose, with the lowest level housing a large stone sarcophagus in a chamber filled with water, suggesting a symbolic representation of the underworld. The second level contained 6 burial shafts, though they were found empty, leading to speculation about their original use. This finding was significant in understanding burial practices and the possible ceremonial use of the shaft. Although largely devoid of inscriptions that could provide direct information about its creators or construction dates, the excavation unearthed several artifacts, including pottery shards and fragments of stone vessels, offering some clues about the shaft's age and use. Dating the Osiris shaft has been challenging due to the lack of inscriptions and the mixed nature of the artifacts found within. However, based on the style of pottery and other items, as well as architectural features, archaeologists suggest that the shaft might date from the New Kingdom period, with some elements possibly being older or reused from earlier periods. The Osiris Shaft, a mysterious and elaborate underground complex, has sparked intense scholarly debate and speculation due to its unique architectural features and symbolic elements.
It's a subterranean complex, so it's a very complicated, incredibly enigmatic place.
Scholars and archaeologists have proposed various theories about its purpose, drawing on evidence from Egyptian mythology, religious practices, and archaeological findings. These theories primarily revolve around the shaft's connection to the cult of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, death and rebirth, and its potential use in ancient ceremonial practices. Osiris, one of the most important gods in the ancient Egyptian pantheon, symbolizes the cycle of death and rebirth. The water-filled chamber at the bottom of the Osiris shaft is believed to symbolize the underworld, or the primordial waters of Nun, from which all life emerged according to Egyptian cosmology. This chamber, especially with its central stone sarcophagus, could represent the tomb of Osiris and the place of his resurrection. The presence of a large stone-carved sarcophagus in the deepest chamber is seen as a direct reference to Osiris's burial. Although empty, this sarcophagus serves as a powerful symbol of Osiris's death and his role in the afterlife, potentially used in rituals emulating his resurrection. One prevalent theory is that the Osiris shaft was used for initiation rites into the mysteries of Osiris. These rites would have been designed to impart secret knowledge and spiritual rebirth to initiates, mirroring the death and resurrection of Osiris. The descent through the shaft's levels could symbolize the initiate's journey through death to enlightenment and rebirth, with each level representing a stage of spiritual transformation. The shaft may have also been used for rituals celebrating the cyclical nature of life and death, reflecting the agricultural significance of the Nile's flooding and the seasonal growth cycles associated with Osiris. Such rituals could involve the symbolic planting of seeds, water libations, and recitations of hymns and prayers, aiming to ensure the regeneration of life and the fertility of the land. Another speculation ties the Osiris shaft to ancient Egyptian astronomy, particularly the belief in the stars as the destination of the soul in the afterlife. The orientation and structure of the shaft might have had astronomical significance, aligning with specific stars or constellations believed to be associated with Osiris and the afterlife. While direct archaeological evidence supporting these theories is limited, the design of the Osiris shaft and the artifacts found within it offer indirect clues. The careful construction of the shaft, the choice of its location near the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, and the selection of objects placed in the smaller chambers suggest a deliberate attempt to create a sacred space imbued with religious and symbolic meanings. Textual evidence from ancient Egyptian religious texts, such as the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead, which contain references to the afterlife and the journey of the soul, provides a contextual backdrop for interpreting the Osiris shaft. These texts describe the landscape of the afterlife, including the presence of water, boats, and the significance of the sarcophagus, all of which find echoes in the physical structure of the Osiris shaft. The Osiris shaft showcases the architectural ingenuity of ancient Egyptian civilization, constructed deep within the limestone bedrock and organized into 3 distinct levels connected by vertical shafts. This site blends the practical with the mystical. Let's explore the architecture and structure of the Osiris shaft, examining each level's design, construction, and potential significance. The engineering and architectural design of the Osiris shaft demonstrate advanced planning and knowledge of subterranean construction techniques. The entrance is a rectangular opening, a deliberate design choice marking the beginning of a descent into the earth.
That's the access to the underground area of the Sphinx. The government put it there on purpose.
This opening leads directly to a vertical shaft carved straight down into the limestone, requiring precise control to maintain the shaft's integrity and direction. The shaft descends approximately 10 meters to the first level. The construction of this shaft involved removing tons of limestone using tools made from harder stones, copper, and possibly bronze, as well as ropes and wooden scaffolding for debris removal. The initial chamber at this level is relatively modest in size and devoid of elaborate decorations or significant artifacts. Its simplicity suggests it may have served as an antechamber or a preparatory space for deeper levels, possibly intended for purification or other preliminary rites. A second vertical shaft leads from the first level down an additional 20 meters, indicating a continuation of the journey into the depths. This shaft's construction would have been even more challenging due to the depth and the need to ensure ventilation and structural stability. This more extensive chamber houses 6 burial shafts, which were found empty, hinting at possible looting or a symbolic use. The creation of these shafts within the chamber's floor showcases a complex understanding of space utilization and the cultural importance of burial practices. The empty burial shafts might have been intended for actual interments or served a ceremonial purpose, perhaps symbolizing the passage to the afterlife. Their presence speaks to the shaft's potential role in funerary rites or as a cenotaph. The third and deepest level is accessed via another shaft from the second level, descending around 30 meters below the surface. This final descent marks the culmination of the journey into the underworld, mirroring the mythological descent of Osiris. Dominated by a large stone sarcophagus, this chamber is a dramatic representation of the tomb of Osiris. The partial filling of this chamber with water from the natural aquifer links the Osiris shaft to the mythological themes of rebirth and purification. Water, a symbol of life and regeneration, would have held profound religious significance, enhancing the chamber's sanctity as a representation of Osiris's tomb. Surrounding the central sarcophagus are smaller chambers that contained mummified remains and artifacts. Graham Hancock, a British author known for his unconventional theories about ancient civilizations, has posited several intriguing ideas regarding the Osiris shaft and the broader context of ancient Egyptian monuments.
Is there not a hidden chamber as well?
In fact, there is a whole underworld at Giza. This is beginning to be recognized.
Hancock's work, which spans several books including Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods, often challenges the orthodox archaeological understanding of history. His theories, while controversial among mainstream scholars, have sparked considerable interest and debate among the public and alternative researchers.
I think there's a lot more remains to be discovered under the Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
A central theme in his work is the hypothesis of a lost advanced civilization that predates known history. He suggests that this civilization possessed sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and mathematics, which was passed down to later cultures, including the ancient Egyptians.
But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us, in many of their texts, that everything they knew was a legacy.
He suggests these events led to significant rises in sea levels and could have been responsible for the demise of the advanced civilization he hypothesizes. The Osiris shaft's lower levels being filled with water could be interpreted within Hancock's framework as symbolic or actual evidence of these cataclysmic events. He might view the water in the shaft as a deliberate reference to the ancient floods and the civilization's knowledge of these cataclysmic events.
Nobody builds something that big underground just for fun. You don't do that unless you have to.
Right.
You don't burrow like a human ant nest.
Yeah. Human beings are so weird in so many ways.
Yes.
The story of the Longu Caves discovery begins quite unassumingly with Wu Anai, a local farmer in the small village of Xi'an in Zhejiang province, China. This region, picturesque with its lush landscapes and traditional farming, was not known for archaeological treasures.
It's really important to understand that archaeology is often driven by accidental finds.
However, the persistent issue of a village pond that wouldn't dry up, despite extensive efforts to pump it for irrigation, piqued the curiosity of Wu and his neighbors. Determined to find the reason, they funded the use of rudimentary pumps, and after 17 days and over 20,000 cubic meters of water pumped out, they uncovered what appeared to be a man-made cavern entrance, revealing the first of the Longu Caves, later dubbed Cave 1.
Someone made it, and it involved a very large amount of organized labor. There had to be the will and the intent in order to do that.
This cave, an architectural wonder with exquisite hand-chiseled carvings, stairways and sturdy columns, was just the beginning. Word of this remarkable find spread rapidly across the region, capturing the imaginations of both the public and the academic world. The discovery was so stirring because of its unexpected nature and the sheer magnitude of the caves. Motivated by the initial find, the local community continued to fund the exploration, and by the end of 1992, 4 more caves had been identified.
There's a bunch of these things. There's a bunch of things like that. They're just like,
Each cave was unique in design and hinted at a sophisticated yet mysterious civilization that had left no other record behind. Recognizing the potential historical and cultural significance of these caves, the Chinese government quickly stepped in. They took measures to protect the site and supported further scientific studies to explore these enigmatic structures more thoroughly. This governmental intervention mirrored the actions taken after other major archaeological discoveries in China, such as the Terracotta Army, uncovered by local farmers in Shaanxi in 1974.
It's a wonderful mystery, and it deserves much further attention.
Both the Longu Caves and the Terracotta Army were stumbled upon by locals engaged in ordinary tasks, yet these finds were anything but ordinary. The Terracotta Army, part of Emperor Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, features thousands of life-sized statues, each detailed with unique facial expressions and attire, clearly a tribute to the emperor's military forces. In contrast, the Longu Caves, with their vast underground spaces expertly carved from solid rock, offer no such clues about their creators or their purpose, remaining shrouded in mystery.
We are just, I think, looking at the edges of a mystery. The archaeologists involved feel the same.
These discoveries significantly shifted our understanding of their respective eras. The Terracotta Army provided a window into the military aesthetics and rituals of the Qin dynasty, while the Longu caves have puzzled historians due to their lack of any historical documentation. Both sites have undergone intense scholarly scrutiny and ongoing research, as experts from around the world try to uncover the secrets they hold and the stories they might tell about the ancient peoples of China. These caves were cleverly concealed by the mountainous landscape and dense vegetation, which likely played a role in keeping them hidden for centuries. The region's rocky terrain further protected these man-made wonders from natural erosive forces, preserving their pristine condition through the ages. Advancements in technology have significantly aided in the exploration and mapping of these caves. Techniques such as laser scanning and ground-penetrating radar have been crucial in providing detailed information about the cave's dimensions and layout. Initially, surveys indicated that the caves covered an area of approximately 30,000 square meters, but ongoing exploration might extend this figure as more sections are discovered. The architectural consistency observed across the Longu caves is truly remarkable. Despite varying sizes and designs, each cave exhibits uniform craftsmanship with flat bases for pillars and symmetrical spacing of architectural elements. This uniformity suggests they were likely constructed under the centralized direction of a single authoritative entity, possibly a local ruler or a unified government during that era. The choice of siltstone for construction, a material easier to carve than granite or basalt, allowed for the creation of smooth walls and intricate carvings, showcasing an advanced understanding of material properties and structural engineering. This is evident in the high ceilings supported by massive stone pillars designed to distribute weight evenly throughout the caverns. The caves are not only a feat of engineering but also of artistry. The internal structures include complex water channels that likely serve to prevent flooding and maintain a stable internal environment, alongside ornate gutters and meticulously carved bridges that enhance both the functionality and aesthetics of these spaces. The scale of excavation involved is staggering, with an estimated 1 million cubic meters of rock removed using basic iron or bronze tools. This massive endeavor would have required thousands of laborers over several decades, if not centuries, highlighting the significant human effort and organization required. Detailed examinations of the tool marks and techniques on the cave walls offer archaeologists valuable insights into the technological capabilities of the time. Furthermore, carbon dating of some cave sections indicates their construction dates back to at least the Eastern Zhou dynasty, over 2,000 years ago. This ancient origin adds to the mystery and allure of the caves. The Longu caves, with their vast chambers and no historical records to explain their construction, have sparked a plethora of theories about their original purpose. One popular theory is that the caves were used as ancient storage silos. Researchers supporting this idea point to the stable temperature and humidity levels inside the caves, conditions ideal for storing perishables. The interior layout, featuring platforms and ledges, seems perfect for organizing goods, while the intricate water management systems might have been designed to control moisture levels, ensuring that stored items remained preserved. Another theory suggests that these caves served as royal tombs or burial sites for nobility. This wouldn't be out of place in ancient traditions worldwide, where elaborate resting places were often constructed for the elite. The extensive labor and detailed craftsmanship involved in creating the Longu caves imply they were built for significant individuals. However, the complete absence of artifacts or human remains commonly found in other tombs casts doubt on this theory. Some believe the caves had a religious or ceremonial purpose, considering how their secluded and quiet interiors would be suitable for spiritual activities. This aligns with the global historical trend of using caves for such purposes. The uniform design and orientation of the caves could suggest they were specifically planned for processions or religious ceremonies, although the lack of religious symbols or artifacts challenges this theory. A more practical perspective is that the caves were quarries. The theory posits that the caves were originally mined for stone, used in early Chinese imperial construction projects, though it doesn't account for why the stone wasn't used in any known structures nearby. Lastly, a more speculative idea is that the caves functioned as ancient astronomical observatories. Some suggest that the orientation of tunnels and openings within the caves aligns with specific celestial events, much like other historic astronomical sites.
But what's fascinating about them is this very powerful geometry and astronomy.
This would imply a sophisticated understanding of the stars by the creators of the Longu caves, though hard evidence for this theory is still lacking. When we compare the architectural marvels of the Longu caves in China with Petra in Jordan, also known as the Rose City, we dive into a fascinating study of ancient ingenuity and artistic mastery. Petra's structures are famously carved into the blush-colored sandstone cliffs, reflecting the elaborate and ornate aesthetic of the Nabateans around the 5th century BCE. Its most iconic structure, the treasury, is a perfect example of this, with a facade that is both monumental and intricately detailed, highlighting the peak of Nabatean craftsmanship. In contrast, the Longu caves are sculpted from siltstone, a material that presents different challenges and opportunities for the carvers. The finer grain of siltstone allowed ancient workers to achieve smooth finishes and sharp details in the cave walls and columns, offering a different kind of beauty from Petra's elaborate sandstone carvings. Unlike Petra's diverse architectural purposes, the Longu caves exhibit a uniform design across all the caverns, suggesting they were built with a singular purpose or design philosophy in mind. Both Petra and the Longu were lost to the world until their relatively recent rediscovery. Petra was brought back into the public consciousness in 1812 by Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, and since then it has reshaped much of our understanding of Middle Eastern history. Despite the grandeur and historical significance of both sites, they share a profound mystery: the absence of detailed historical records explaining their construction. While Petra does have some inscriptions and texts that offer minimal insights, the Longu caves are surrounded by complete silence in historical records, with no writings found to date that reference their creation. This lack of documentation has left historians and archaeologists piecing together clues and forming theories that range from practical to speculative in an effort to understand these magnificent constructions.
What do we date modern Indian civilization back to? Is it 5,000 years
since
ago?
the Indus
4,000.
Yeah, since the discovery of the Indus Valley civilization, you know, we have to accept that civilization in India is at least 5,000 years old.
Deep within the heart of India, a breathtaking structure lies hidden in plain sight. The Allora caves, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stand as a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. Carved entirely out of solid rock, these awe-inspiring temples and monasteries raise a question that has haunted historians and archaeologists for centuries. How did ancient civilizations, without the aid of modern tools, manage to excavate a staggering 200,000 tons of basalt? Were they merely masters of manual labor, or did they possess knowledge and technologies lost to the sands of time? The discovery of the Allora caves in the Aurangabad district of Maharashtra, India, opens an intriguing chapter on how ancient sites in India came to be known to the global community. These caves, exemplary of monolithic rock-cut architecture, present a fascinating study of cultural evolution and historical rediscovery. Initially, the Allora caves were vibrant centers for activities central to the local community's spiritual life. Over centuries, the shifting dynastic and religious tides on the Indian subcontinent saw a decline in their prominence. The rise of other religious centers and the gradual decline of Buddhism, which had significantly influenced the early phases of the caves, contributed to this diminished status. As political instability grew, the caves' roles evolved, resulting in decreased usage. Interestingly, this period of obscurity helped in preserving the Allora caves. With fewer visitors and minimal economic activities, the caves suffered less wear and tear, which protected their original artworks and structures from significant alterations or damage that active religious sites typically undergo. Despite fading from prominence, the caves were not forgotten. Local folklore and traditions played a crucial role in keeping the memory of the caves alive among the rural populations. These tales, blending historical facts with mythological elements, added a mystical dimension to the caves, maintaining their significance in local culture. The broader recognition of the Allora caves came with their rediscovery by John Smith, a British officer, during a hunting expedition in 1819. Drawn to the area by his curiosity about the source of the Mula Mutha River, Smith stumbled upon the caves almost by accident. This serendipitous discovery marked a pivotal moment, introducing the caves to the wider world. Smith's initial reports generated considerable interest among the British colonial administrators and scholars. The early sketches and descriptions of the caves began circulating in British academic circles, sparking further explorations and detailed studies. These initial European encounters with the caves were instrumental in framing the subsequent archaeological and artistic studies. Figures like James Ferguson, who visited the caves following Smith's reports, played a significant role in documenting the Allora caves and arguing for their significance in the context of global architecture. Ferguson's work particularly helped classify the artistic and architectural styles of the caves, providing a scholarly foundation that would contribute to their recognition as a site of profound historical and cultural importance. The scholarly work initiated by figures like James Ferguson set the stage for a deeper appreciation of the Allora caves, not just as historical structures, but as masterpieces of cultural and architectural significance. Carved directly into the Charanandri Hills basalt cliffs, the 34 caves at Allora are a remarkable achievement in rock-cut architecture. The choice of basalt, a particularly hard volcanic rock, necessitated the use of sophisticated tools and techniques, showcasing the advanced engineering and stonework skills of the era. The layout of the Allora complex resembles a rich tapestry of diversity, segmented into 3 main groups based on religious affiliation. To the south, the 12 Buddhist caves display the earliest phase of religious expression. The center houses 17 Hindu caves, indicative of a middle phase, while the 5 Jain caves to the north represent the final addition to this spiritual landscape. This arrangement not only mirrors the chronological evolution of the site, but also the shifting dynamics over several centuries, possibly reflecting the prevailing religious influences during different periods. Each group of caves is distinguished by unique artistic styles and iconography, aligned with the tenets and aesthetics of its respective religion. The Buddhist caves, for example, are adorned with images of the Buddha in various poses, alongside narratives from his life and scenes depicting Buddhist lore. In contrast, the Hindu caves feature an array of Hindu deities and rich mythological themes, demonstrating more elaborate artistic expressions as time progressed. The Jain caves, though fewer in number, are meticulously detailed with carvings of Tirthankaras and intricate geometric designs, highlighting the precision and depth of Jain artistic philosophy. Over the centuries spanning approximately 600 to 1000 AD, the styles and architectural techniques at Allora evolved significantly. The earlier caves, primarily Buddhist, feature simpler and more austere designs, reflecting the initial phases of rock-cut architecture. As the focus shifted towards Hinduism with the rise of Hindu dynasties like the Rashtrakutas in the 7th century, the caves began to exhibit more sophisticated and ornate embellishments. This trend continued and even expanded with the later addition of Jain caves in the 9th century, underpinned by royal patronage, which introduced larger sculptures and complex multi-storied structures to the site. As we delve deeper into the architectural prowess demonstrated at the Allora caves, the sheer scale of the endeavor becomes even more evident. Carved into the hard basalt cliffs of the Charanandri Hills, these caves are not just a showcase of ancient art but also a monumental engineering achievement. The Kailasa Temple, also known as Cave 16, is particularly noteworthy. It's estimated that about 200,000 tons of basalt were removed using rudimentary tools like hammers, chisels, and picks. This amount of rock removal dwarfs that of the Parthenon in Athens, making the temple all the more impressive. Comparing these feats to other historical constructions puts the Allora caves in perspective. For instance, while the tombs of the Valley of the Kings in Egypt are also carved into rock, the limestone used there is much softer than the basalt at Allora and the scale of excavation smaller per tomb. Additionally, the construction of the Roman Colosseum involved quarrying and transporting stone blocks rather than carving directly into bedrock, highlighting the unique challenges faced by the artisans at Allora. The labor required for such a massive undertaking at Allora was immense. Hundreds of artisans would have worked in shifts continuously over several decades. This not only required physical endurance, but also advanced planning and precision. The artisans had to ensure that each layer they carved matched the overall design perfectly, as any mistake would be irrevocable. They likely used a combination of geometric planning and three-dimensional visualization to achieve this level of detail. The sophistication didn't stop at carving. The use of iron tools during this period in India was critical, enabling the artisans to shape the hard basalt effectively. These tools were not just for fine detailing, but also for removing large volumes of rock, demonstrating the advanced metalwork techniques of the time. Furthermore, the hydraulic engineering incorporated into structures like the Kailasa temple was ahead of its time. Sophisticated drainage systems were designed to manage the heavy monsoon rains typical of the region. These systems, which included channels and gutters carved directly into the rock, were crucial for preventing water damage and erosion. This approach to water management, focusing on local water diversion, contrasts with contemporary systems like Roman aqueducts, which transported water over long distances but addressed different engineering challenges. An intriguing theory about the Allora caves adds another layer of complexity to their design. It suggested that the layout and orientation of certain caves may align with specific astronomical events, such as solstices and equinoxes. This alignment could mean that during these key times of the year, sunlight would dramatically illuminate specific sculptures or carvings within the caves, creating a play of light and shadow that was both symbolic and spectacular. Such celestial alignments would not only have enhanced the aesthetic and spiritual experience, but also demonstrated a profound understanding of astronomy. As we further explore the complexities and grandeur of the Allora caves, it becomes clear that their art and iconography are as diverse and profound as the engineering feats behind their construction. The Buddhist caves, far from being mere retreats, are vibrant narrative canvases that tell the story of Buddha's life and teachings through detailed sculptures and architectural designs. Cave 10 is a prime example, featuring a large stupa overlooked by a colossal statue of Buddha in a preaching pose. The walls around it are richly adorned with scenes capturing key moments from his journey towards enlightenment and his subsequent efforts to impart his wisdom to others. In contrast, the Hindu caves at Allora are dominated by dramatic and intricate reliefs of gods and goddesses from the expansive Hindu pantheon. The most notable among these is Cave 16, the Kailasa temple, which is not just an architectural marvel but also a canvas for mythology. Carved to represent Shiva's mountain abode, it is replete with scenes from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the various exploits of Lord Shiva himself. This cave stands out as a monumental freestanding structure, sculpted entirely from a single rock, showcasing an entire mythological narrative in stone. Similarly, the Jain caves, particularly Cave 32, known as the Indra Sabha, feature meticulous carvings that reflect Jain values of symmetry and asceticism. These caves are adorned with delicate carvings of lotus flowers, celestial beings, and intricate geometric patterns. The detailed depictions of the Tirthankaras in various poses of meditation and teaching further emphasize the Jain philosophical outlook and its emphasis on tranquility and enlightenment. Drawing an interesting comparison, the nearby Ajanta caves, although similar in being a rock-cut complex, present a different artistic and functional focus. Exclusively Buddhist, the Ajanta caves primarily served as monasteries and prayer halls, and are renowned for their exquisite wall paintings and sculptures that depict scenes from the Buddha's life and the Jataka tales. Unlike Allora, Ajanta features caves with horseshoe-shaped facades and lacks the architectural diversity seen in Allora. Each cave at Ajanta is dedicated to a single tradition, whereas Allora presents a more eclectic architectural panorama, including the astonishing Kailasa temple. This diversity at Allora not only highlights a broader spectrum of life, but also showcases the evolution of rock-cut architecture from purely monastic uses to elaborate temples and intricate pilgrimage sites, carved into the face of the same mountain.